Now, what needs to be done? Well, it's quite simple and straightforward what needs to be done. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm not saying it doesn't require a lot of work, it does, but it can be done. What the government should be doing, the state should be doing, local authorities should be doing now is CPOing land so that we can build affordable and social housing at the scale that is needed. Then master plan that land as a strategic development zone, plan in the amenities, community infrastructure, and then get on with starting to build thousands of affordable and social homes, both to rent and buy, that we need, rather than missing your targets every year, hoping that the delivery mechanisms will come true when they never do. Actually get on with doing this. This, of course, was recommended 50 years ago when the Kenny report was published. Along with this, of course, you need to invest in upgrading infrastructure, water, wastewater, public transport to service these lands that are CPO'd. You need to sort out capacity constraints. For example, you should adopt the Law Reform Commission's proposals on how to speed up the CPO process of land. That would help. We need to get more people into construction apprenticeships. A really good start for that would be to at least pay the minimum wage. That would be a good start if you took this seriously. You should ensure that in terms of state construction contracts, that at least 10% of the workforce would be apprentices. This is done in some other countries where they take this seriously, unlike this government. You should take measures to get more women involved in construction apprenticeships. In the UK, in a number of years, they actually tripled the number of women in apprenticeships because they took proactive measures to do that. There's some countries, in some areas of construction, where half the workforce is women. Our labour participation rates are off the charts compared to some other European countries in this, how poor they are in terms of women. Where gaps can't be filled in construction, we should of course be expanding the critical skills list. That includes planners, incidentally, that aren't on the critical skills list, even though we've a crisis at the moment with An Bord Pleanála hiring more planners, which is welcome. That's taking planners out of local authorities where they're also needed. We're not training enough each year. There needs to be more trained and coming out of the education system. But pending that, we of course should have planners on the critical skills list like they were before, where planners in similar countries with similar planning systems like New Zealand, Australia, South Africa were able to come in and fill empty posts. That needs to be done. Of course, abolish the cumbersome four-stage approval process, provide early stage finance for affordable housing projects to help get them off the ground. That's a critical barrier that needs to be tackled. This Cathaoirleach is not such a radical plan that I'm advancing. It's simply what needs to be done. It's simply what has been done before in this country, when we had very little resources as a country. 1950s Ireland, we were not some sort of an economic powerhouse, and yet this is exactly what was done. Dublin Corporation, for example, if you look at what they did in terms of putting in a huge amount of social housing in my constituency on the north side of Dublin, and indeed affordable purchase housing. They completed the Northern sewage system to create the wastewater infrastructure to allow for that housing. And then in 1954, they CPO'd 602 acres. And that is how we got a huge amount of social and affordable purchase homes built and provided in areas like Kilmore, Bonnybrook, Edenmore, Coolock. Along with that, they reserved sites for things like, the shopping centres in Edenmore, Northside Shopping Centre. And yes, with hindsight, we can absolutely say the densities were far too low. They could have done much better in terms of densities and got much more housing in. But that was successful delivery of housing by CPOing and getting on with it.